Welcome in, everybody. Welcome back to the YouTube audience. It is out of the park baseball night here on Twitch. Where's the game crashing 4 times since? Absolutely. We got an interesting one here for you guys tonight. We've got the Washington Olympics, who are currently sitting with a record of 4-5, and they are traveling to Rockford, Illinois, to take on the 4-8 Rockford Forest Citys. It's been a wild one for Rockford. These two teams met just 4 days prior. It's the 5th of June, 1871. And these two met 4 days prior in Washington, D.C., where Rockford managed to scratch across a 9-8 win in 11 innings. Led off the back of 3 hits from Cap Anson and a stolen base there. 2 RBIs for catcher Doug Allison in that game. Rockford then would go home to host the best team in baseball, the Boston Red Stockings. They would fall 19-11 after a 9-run ninth inning gave Boston the victory there. In 9, Rockford just couldn't hold on to the lead. A game they had to lead 3 times in, by the way. Rockford then hosted the Troy Haymakers on the 4th of June, 1871. We commentated that game last Saturday. And Rockford ran out 8-2 winners after a 3-1 fourth and a 4-run eighth. Put Rockford well into the lead there. They would close off. George Hall had a big night there. He had a 2-run RBI home run and also had another RBI in the 4th there. Anyways, I'm running again. Oh, I get it. The time difference does not suit you. I totally understand, Crack. Thanks for swinging by. I'll give you your shout out right now. You're set for the 2nd inning, right? So, but what that has done is set up an interesting matchup. Washington Olympics, 4-5. They are in the American League, and they are traveling to Rockford, who have won 3 of their 4 games at home so far this season. It is the Rockford Forest Citys at home. Right, let's go over the starting lineups. What's up? What's up, Dave? Welcome in. Let's go over the starting lineups. There you go. We'll start with the Washington Olympics side. Leading off will be second baseman Ed Duffy. He's batting 297 with 5 RBIs, 1 home run so far this season. Tom Foley's still batting cold. He's the second spot, the center fielder. He's batting 154 with 4 RBIs this season. Ned Cuthbert, the left fielder, will bat third. He's batting 216, 1 RBI this season. John Bass is in the 4th spot. He's the shortstop, batting 348, 9 RBIs, 1 home run this season. First baseman Charlie Gold will be the 5th hitter. He's batting 293 and 5 RBIs into a pile. Why, Dave? 5 RBIs, 1 home run for Charlie Gold. John Radcliffe, batting 6th, the third baseman. He is batting 359, 7 RBIs. Charlie Mills is a catcher, bats 7, 233, 5 RBIs for him. Elmer White, the right fielder, batting 8th, bats 138 so far this season. Al Pratt, the pitcher. Oh, yeah, okay. FM being a pain in the butt. Yep. Honestly, that was Saturday's stream, too. Like, we completely capitulated on Saturday. Or I think it was Sunday. We capitulated on Sunday. We made the Canadian Championship final. We lost. We literally drew one of the legs without giving up a shot on goal because of an own goal, and we led the other leg 1-0 until like the 70th minute. And then we lost the the Canadian Premier League final to a team that we had like smoked 3-4 times throughout the season, and then we literally beat the best team in the MLS on their own patch of grass, and then couldn't beat like the 9th best team at home. So I'd have had more luck running through Safari in a suit. Yeah. No, I get that. It's one of those days where you just want to turn the freaking PC off. Right. Let's go over the lineup for the Rockford Forest Citys. Leading off will be third baseman Cap Anson. He's batting 407, 4 RBIs. George Hall, the left fielder, bats second. He's batting 233. 3 home runs, which is a league leading total right now. 10 RBIs as well. Ross Barnes bats third. He's batting 974. He's batting 345 with 8 RBIs. Lip Pike, the right fielder, bats fourth. 2 home runs, 10 RBIs, batting 294. Catcher Doug Allison will bat fifth. He's batting 327, 10 RBIs so far this season. Joe Start bats sixth. 296, 4 RBIs so far this season. For the first baseman, it'll be center fielder George Bird, batting seventh. He's batting 300 with 7 RBIs so far this season. George Wright, the shortstop, bats eighth. He's batting 234, 4 RBIs so far this season. Dick McBride, the pitcher, will bat ninth, 349 for him with 2 RBIs so far this season. On the mound, Al Pratt for the Washington Olympics. He's 4-4 with a 2.47 ERA. He has a 1.34 WHIP. And Dick McBride will take the mound for the Rockford Forest Citys. He is 3-7 this season with a 2.98 ERA and a 1.23 WHIP as well. 105 first pitch here from the Agricultural Society Fairgrounds in Rockford, Illinois, in front of a crowd of 800 here. 66 degrees. For those of you guys that use Celsius, that is about that's about 19 degrees. And we are ready to get underway here with this first thing. Before we do, we need to start with the shout-outs. Give them a follow if you don't already. They stream during the daytime. When they do stream, Buck FC. Last playing Football Manager 28. He's a big fan of the lower league saves. Did one in Germany and I think did one in Italy as well. Awesome streamer. Give him a follow if you're not already. Buck FC is your sponsor for this first inning. Right. Dick McBride on the mound. It's Ed Duffy settling in. Here comes the first pitch to Ed Duffy here to get things started. He's chopped that foul. Here's the 0-1. That's taken off the plate away, 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. It's 1-2. Here's the 1-2. And that's grounded right in front of home plate over to first. That's in time for the out. 2-3 on the put out to Duffy. 1 away here in the first. That's going to bring up center fielder Tom Foley. Here's the first pitch to him. That's a called strike. It's on 1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. It's 0-2. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Check swing. They look at third base, and the umpires there say he didn't go. 1-2 the count now. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That's grounded to the backstop. It'll remain 1-2. The 1-2 now. Check swing. They go to third again, and again he didn't go. And it'll be 2-2 now. The count. Here's the even count pitch. So it's fouled to the backstop again, and we go again at 2-2. Here's the 2-2. Popped up. Just next to home plate. Catcher's there. He will make the grab, and that'll retire Tom Foley. Nobody on, 2 out for left fielder Neth Cuthbert. Here's the first pitch to him. That's taken for a called strike. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Called strike on the outside part of the plate. 0-2 the count now to Ned Cuthbert. Here's the 0-2. That's lined into left, but lands foul. Here's the 0-2. And it's high and away, ball one. Here's the 1-2. Chop foul will go again, 1-2. Here's a 1-2 pitch. It's popped up in the infield. Shortstop right there. Can he make the play? Yes, he will. And the side is retired. 3 up and 3 down in the top of the first. We go the bottom first, and we've got no score. Third baseman Cap Anson will lead things off for the Rockford Forest Citys, but we're going to take a quick 90-second timeout. We'll be back with more in just a minute and a half. Welcome back. Bottom first here in Rockford. Washington offering nothing in terms of resistance in the first inning. We go bottom first now. Cap Anson settling in. Al Pratt on the mound for Washington. Here's the first pitch for the Olympics. And Anson's grounded over the third. On to first. That's in time for the first out of the inning. 5-3 is the scorer's decision. That'll bring up left fielder George Hall. He's had himself a monster game against Troy. Here's the first pitch to Hall. That's a called strike on the outside part of the plate. It's 0-1. Hall, 3 RBIs against Troy in his 2 hits. Also had a double in that game. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That's a called strike. It's 0-2. George Hall in a hole here, 0-2. Here's the pitch. He's chopped it foul. We'll go again at 0-2. Here's the 0-2. That's high, ball one. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That is 2-2 now to George Hall. Here's the even count pitch. And he has lined that into center field. That'll drop. It's a base hit for George Hall. And he's aboard on a single. That'll bring up second baseman Ross Barnes. Barnes yesterday finished 2 for 4 with a walk and 2 stolen bases. Here's the first pitch to Ross Barnes. The throw was over to first, but he was back in time. And that pitch is high and away, 1-0. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Grounded it over to second. He'll go to second for one, and that's all they'll get. And so Barnes is aboard on a 6-4 fielder's choice. That'll bring up Lip Pike, the right fielder. Barnes got a lot of speed over at first base. We'll see if they utilize it. Here's the pitch. They are going to utilize it. He's going to go, but he's going to be called out at second. They got him. He's caught stealing, and that will retire the side. No runs on one hit. They leave the bases empty. We go top second. There is no score. Due up first for the Washington Olympics is shortstop John Bass. This second inning brought to you by Crack Attack Central. Last playing Expedition 33. Here's a clip of it. All right. Right. Give him a follow if you're not already. Crack Attack Central, excellent streamer, Expedition 33, Shimigami Tensei, Fortnite, Football Manager, FIFA. He does it all. Crack Attack Central is our sponsor for this second inning. Settling in is John Bass. Here's the first pitch to him. And that's away for a ball, 1-0. Here's the 1-0. And that is shot into center field, but high enough and playable. And out there is George Bird, and he will make the catch. One away here in the second. That'll be Charlie Gold who settles in. The first baseman. Here's the pitch to him. That's inside, ball one. Here's the 1-0. Shot through, base hit in the left. Good ball, good hit, well placed, and into left field is Charlie Gold's hit, and he's on first base. That's going to bring up John Ratcliffe, the third baseman. Here's the first pitch to him. And he's popped that up in the infield. Shortstop's over to make the play. And he will glove it for the out. That's George Wright making the play. That's going to bring up catcher Charlie Mills. Here's the first pitch to Mills. That's taken for a called strike. And it is 0-1. Here's the 0-1 to Mills. And he has popped that up in the infield. Second baseman's over there. He'll make the play. That's Ross Barnes gloving it, and the side is retired. No runs on one hit. They leave one aboard. We go bottom second here in Rockford, and we've got no score. Coming up to bat first for the Rockford Forest Citys should be Lip Pike, because he didn't complete his at-bat last time. It is. It'll be right fielder Lip Pike. We are going to take a quick 90-second timeout. We'll be back with more in just a minute and a half. Right, welcome back. Welcome in, Skull. Bottom second here in Rockford. No score. Lip Pike settling in. Here's the first pitch to him. He's going to take that high, ball one. Here's the 1-0. And that is lined into left. Is it going to stay fair is the question. No, it won't. I mean, I've never been of the. You know me. I stopped listening to that. I was the same way with like the other, just overall when I used to listen to transfer rumors and stuff on like Talk Sport and BBC and all that stuff. Welcome in, Owen. How you doing, man? I hope you're well, man. Has a match engine now? Yes, it does. Now here's the 1-1 pitch. That's off the plate away. 2-1. Just one game. Yeah, exactly. No, I get you. Yeah, I agree. Owen, if you've never seen us play OOTP before, we are commentating through the first ever professional baseball season that there was in the United States. It's 1871. Particularly, it's the 5th of June in 1871. And Washington come in. They are 4-5, but I believe they are 0-4 on the road. And they are on the road again here against the Rockford Forest Citys, who are 4-8, 3-3 at home. So that's the matchup for tonight. Rockford have the home run leader currently in the league in their lineup in George Hall. They have a lot of hitting. They don't have a lot of great fielding. But that's where we're at right now. It's bottom second. At least West Ham is finally out of we're out of the relegation zone on one goal in the goal difference. So, I don't know. You're right. I am appreciative, but I want to get that gap. 20 days. Good Lord, Skull. 20-day streak, man. Thank you very much. I love some of the names. Lip Pike is a great name. There's a guy on another team called Count Sensendorfer. And I'm like, that's just the fucking goated name of all time. And these are real players. These are all real players who played back in 1871. But yeah, Count Sensendorfer. I'm like, what a name. Quick Google tells me he is called the Iron Batter. I think I love Lip. Nice. Well, you play Liverpool next, so there's 3 points. Maybe. But hey, when you're out of form, who do you want to play? You want to play West Ham. We're the form busters. Remember, when you need a win, have it in 10. Who you going to call? Form busters. And that's West Ham. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Lip Pike. And he's grounded over to first. That's a fielding error. And Pike is aboard on an E3. So the error is on the first baseman. That's Charlie Gold committing the error. Pike is on first, and now runner on, nobody out. That'll bring up Doug Allison, the catcher. If you're new as well, there's going to be a lot of errors because this was the era of baseball in which there are no gloves. Yes, I have a giant book that has so far every game we've done so far this season. Every single game we've commentated. We started in April. First game was back in, let me see here real quick. It was like the 24th or something? First game was the 18th of April. And now we're up to the 5th of June. Yeah, maybe. I hope so, Skull. Here's the pitch to Doug Allison. And he's going to take that for a called strike. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Throw over to first. And the runner is back safely. Yeah, well, if it isn't Benito. What's up, Cully? Yeah, I think so, too. And here's the 0-1. That is into right. That's going to land foul. Just lands foul at the base of the wall. But foul nonetheless, and it'll be 0-2 now to Doug Allison. Oh, and just a note, we give the shout-outs at the top of the inning. So everybody who comes in who's a streamer themselves, they get the sponsor for free an inning in this game. So right now I have you lined up to be the sponsor for our 5th inning here tonight. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That's off the plate away, 1-2. Because, I mean, if we're going to go full American with baseball, we might as well with the adverts, too. Let's be real. I agree, but they are going to be sitting like 13th or 14th, and I think that's probably enough to pull the trigger if you're Liverpool, I think. Right, here's the 1-2. Throw over to first, and the runner is back safely. Here's the 1-2, and that is shot in the left. Right at the left fielder, though. He makes the grab. And that is Doug Allison retired on an F7. First baseman Joe Start settles in now. Here's the first pitch to Start. Runner on first, 1 out. He's trying to bunt him over, but it's a ball. 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That's bunted foul. It'll be 1-1. I am a Phillies fan, yes, unfortunately, for my sins. We tend to be decent every season, and then once we get to the playoffs, we tend to capitulate. Here's the 1-1, and that's popped up. Third baseman's coming in. He'll make the grab, and that is going to be the second out of the inning. The Phillies and the Union are like the two big hometown teams I like. I like the Eagles, but I don't really follow the NFL. But I do like the Eagles would be my team because I'm from Philadelphia. In the NHL, I support the Edmonton Oilers, and I don't really care about the NBA. So I did see one of my favorite former Phillies play for the Dodgers a year ago. Was that Chase Utley by any chance? Here's George Bird. Center fielder settling in. Runner on first, 2 down here. He's going to go. And this time to throw over to second is not in time. Limp Pike steals second base. I'm trying to think of who was a former Philly that went to Dodgers. So I'm more cultured than that. I did like Chase, but more of a hustle guy. I like Chase quite a bit. Who went to the Dodgers from the Phillies? I think it was 2017. I'm blanking who went to the Dodgers from the Phillies. Maybe it was like, let me make sure I am right. Okay. I want to say it was like one of our infielders, maybe like a Dominic Brown, but I'm not 100% sure. Right, 0-1 count to George Bird. Here's the pitch. That is shot into left. That's way back there. And that's going to be a base hit. The left fielder dove for it. He's not going to get to it. And it's going to be a double for George Bird, an RBI double. And Limp Pike is going to come around to score. The stolen base works out brilliantly because the double is just enough to bring him home. And Rockford take the lead in this one by a score of 1-0. I did see Chase too. Gotcha. Okay. That'll bring up shortstop George Wright. Yeah, he's still in Philly, as far as I know. Trey. I mean, I haven't followed the offseason moves, but yeah, he's still in Philly as far as I know. I was a big fan of Hoskins. I was sad to see Hoskins go. He went to Milwaukee. And then they turned out to be the best team in the regular season in the National League. And then also fall to the Dodgers. Here's the first pitch to George Wright. That's high. It's a ball, and it's also a wild pitch that's going to allow Bird to get to third. Oh, yeah, okay. I see. Yeah, I got you. As opposed to Trey, who is the current Philly. Yeah, I got you. All right. 1-0 pitch to George Wright. He has shot that right at the center fielder, and that is going to be the final out of the inning. 1 run on 1 hit. They leave 1 aboard. We go top third here in Rockford, and the Forest Citys have grabbed a 1-0 lead. 2 up first for the Washington Olympics is right fielder Elmer White. New inning means it's time for a new sponsor, Dave Hole FC. He's got some great redeems for points. He's got a great save going on with Markham. Give him a follow if you're not already. He's a funny guy, fantastic guy. Dave Hole FC is our sponsor for this third inning. Going to head to sleep early, rest stream, can't lose the streak. I target hopefully 100 days. Nice, Skull. I appreciate that, brother. Have a great night's sleep. And I'll talk to you soon, man. Right, my throat is not cooperating tonight, but here we go. Third inning. Here's the first pitch to Elmer White, and he has lined that right back to the shortstop. On to first, and that is in time for the out. That's going to bring up pitcher Al Pratt. And the bottom of the order. Here's the first pitch to Pratt. And that is grounded right back to the same shortstop who makes an error. It's an E6. He doesn't grip it properly. And Al Pratt will be aboard. That is shortstop George Wright making the error. And so Washington get a runner here in the third with just 1 out. That's going to bring up the top of the order in Ed Duffy. He grounded out his first time up. Here's the pitch. That's a called strike. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Bunted down the third base side. Over to first in time. And that'll be a sac bunt. Not sure how much I love the idea of the sac bunt here with your best hitter, top of the order, up, or one of your best hitters. But that's what they go with. Gotta love small ball. He is in scoring position now, but there are 2 outs. Tom Foley, who popped up to the catcher his last at bat, is going to settle in. Here's the first pitch to Foley. Swung on and missed. That's 0-1. That is true. You know, if there's any error of small ball, it's probably this error, or the dead ball error, right? The dead ball error probably was a lot of small ball. I think the dead ball error is like the 20s. Right, here's the 0-1 pitch. That shot right back up the center. Base hit. It's a fielding error on the outfielder, and that's going to bring home a run. So it is a single for Tom Foley. It's going to be credited as a single, but then it's also an error on the outfield, an E8, which is center fielder George Bird getting the error, and that allows Foley to go from first to second. It's also going to, nope, I wrote him in the wrong inning. Here we go. Foley in the third, a single that goes to second, and then Al Pratt will be able to go from third to home, and now we've got ourselves a tie game. 2 outs. A runner on second. That'll bring up Ned Cuthbert. He popped up to the shortstop his last at bat. You know what? And they used to way back in the day. They used, like this era of baseball, this was gloveless, and they pitched underhand. They didn't pitch overhand back in this era, but they created gloves to help assist with catching, and the league never banned the gloves. And now today, it's seen as a piece of protective equipment for the player's hands. Right. Here's the first pitch to Ned Cuthbert. That's a called strike. It's 0-1. But cricket, and I played it myself a little bit, it'll teach you how to catch really well. Like the whole concept of catching something, it'll teach, like, something small. Anytime I have to catch anything, I'm always like hands out like that because when I used to play cricket. So that's true. That's true. But there's no way they would be able to reach up and grab those balls over the fence whenever you see them do that. Like that, though, when they reach behind them over the fence, that's really enabled because of the outfield glove. A little bit, at least I think a little bit more. Here's the 0-1. And he's hit him. He's hit him. So Ned Cuthbert is hit by the pitch. And he'll take first base. That'll leave first and second, 2 outs now, and that's going to bring up John Bass, who's flying out to center field his last at bat. The squeeze they get is wild, yeah. Pull Foley, coach. He has lost it. Nah, it's McBride that's on the mound. Foley's on second. Here's the first pitch to John Bass. That's grounded foul to the backstop. It'll be 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That's grounded over to first, and that'll be taken to the bag himself, and that will retire the side. 1 run on 1 hit, and they leave 2 aboard. We go bottom third here in Rockford, and this game is tied. Due up first for the Rockford Forest Citys is pitcher Dick McBride. We are going to take a quick 90-second timeout. We'll be back with more in a minute and a half. Right, welcome back. Bottom third here in Rockford. We got a tie game 1-1. Dick McBride settling in. The pitcher for Rockford. Here's the first pitch to him. That's high for a ball. It's 1-0. Here's the 1-0. That's inside, ball 2. And now it's 2-0 to Dick McBride. Here's the pitch. He's grounded that back up to the short. The throw over to first. It's a bad throw. And McBride's going to get to second base off the back of that. It'll be an E6 is what it's accredited to. And that'll be shortstop John Bass getting credited with the error. And now McBride's aboard on the E6, and it's such a bad throw that he gets second for free. Runner on second now, nobody out for Rockford. That's going to bring up Cap Anson, who grounded out his first at bat. Here's the first pitch to Anson. That is a called strike. It's 0-1. Yeah. I would say most games, like last game was considered really low, like really low. And I think both teams had 2 errors by the end of the thing, which is not uncommon even in the modern game. Like you will get that, but then like the game before that, Boston made 5, Rockford had 11. The game before that, Rockford had 5, Washington had 6. The game before that, Cleveland had 5, Rockford had 6. And the game before that, Washington had 5 and Philadelphia had 6. So it's there are quite a lot of errors. But that was how baseball was back in the day. In this era before gloves, that's how it was. Which is, I think, neat. For the bottom of the, yeah, I know, right? Here's the 0-1. That's grounded back up to the mound. Over to first. That's in time for the out. 1-3 on the put out. And that'll bring up left fielder George Hall, the home run leading George Hall. He's got a runner on second. He's got 1 out. Here's the first pitch to him. That's grounded over towards second. On to first. That's in time for the second out of the inning. Definitely fun. Yeah, I agree. I just wish I'm actually the manager of Rockford. I don't manage the games, but I manage the roster. And I wish we weren't 4-8. I'll say that much. We're bad, bro. We were bad. At one point, I think we were like 1-6. It's not good. This opening season, I think they only play 32 or 34 games. So they don't play a lot of games. Not a lot of time to turn it around. That's going to bring up second baseman Ross Barnes. How's OOTP to play these days? I don't really play it. You know, this is kind of the only save I have. I find it difficult, but this is my first OOTP. Sean Curtis, who's a lovely gentleman who also streams OOTP, he streams it in the mornings here, so it'd be midday for you, but he plays it quite a bit. He would be able to attest to that more. I don't do Perfect Team. Perfect Team is like FIFA Ultimate Team. I don't do Perfect Team. But I do know a lot of people like to do that, and a lot of people like to camp OOTP streamers for the drops they get that are like basically free packs to open for Perfect Team. But I don't really enjoy. I've never enjoyed like Ultimate Team or Perfect Team. So I don't really know. This is kind of the only save I do. I love it. I know that. I love it quite a bit. I did play 2 seasons myself, like off stream, but it was also an 1871 save, and I sweated buckets trying to win those seasons. I had one World Series that just was like, it went all 7 games, and I think 4 of the 7 games were walk-offs. It was just like, it was insanely close. I was absolutely sweating buckets playing through that. And ever since we won that World Series, I kind of stopped playing that save because I was like, I can't. My nerves couldn't handle it. It's bad enough being an FM player. I think it's on Game Pass. I might give it a go. You should give it a try. It's a fun game. It is a fun game, I will say that. And there are viewer rewards like on my channel, and you could do, if you're into viewer rewards, like renaming a player or editing their stats or anything like, and you do a career save like this, and that's totally a possibility as well to set up if you were to ever stream it. So, right. What are we, bottom third here? It's Ross Barnes settling in. He is going to take the first pitch. Here we go. And that's a ball, but it's also a fastball. Safe at home on the throw is Dick McBride, and Rockford on a passed ball have reclaimed the lead. It's 2-1. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Or the 1-0 pitch. That's inside, 2-0. I mean, it's definitely worth a try if it's on Game Pass. I'll say that. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That's below the knees, 3-0. And if you do want things like, if you do Perfect Team, any streamer like, it's not any streamer that's partnered with Out of the Park. So like Dr. Dynastic, Laptop Hound, EBC and NYC2, FKN Commissioner FKN Commish MLB, Sean Curtis, Max LP50. I think they all have drops enabled, so you could literally keep them tapped up during the day, and you would just get free drops if you wanted to as well. Which is pretty cool. Right. Ross Barnes, 3-0 the count. Here's the pitch. That's taken high, ball 4. I think Perfect Team would rage me too much. Just do a fun build. A club save, I think. Nice. Okay. Perfect Team, I don't think you actually play the baseball games. I think you just build the team, and then it sims the games against the other players in your division. So it's not like FIFA where you actually have to play the games against it. You just wind up simming them, and the league resets every day, as far as I know. Right, Russ Barnes aboard on a base on balls. And it's going to bring up Lip Pike. He reached via an error his first at bat. Here's the first pitch. Check swing. They look at third, and he didn't go. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That's a called strike. It's 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Check swing. They go to third base again, and again the third base umpire says he did not go. Two and one to count. Here's the pitch. That's a called strike on the inside part of the plate. It's 2-2. Here's the 2-2 pitch now. That's grounded foul. It'll remain 2-2. Here's the 2-2. Shot over to third. On to first. That's in time to retire the side. One run on no hits. And they leave one aboard. We go top fourth here in Rockford. And it's the Forest Citys leading by a score of 2-1. That is too heavy to swing for poor old Pike. He's actually pretty good. I think he's got like 12 RBIs for us this season. 12 or something like that. Right. New inning means new sponsor. Skull Crusher is an FM26 streamer who's also streamed the F125 game, Rainbow Six Siege, and some Call of Duty. Give him a follow if you're not already. Fantastic streamer. Was last doing a network save with Block earlier today. Skull Crusher is our sponsor for this 4th inning. Two-one Rockford lead. Leading off as first baseman Charlie Gold. He had a single his last at bat. Here's the first pitch to Gold. And he's shot that, and it's another base hit for Gold. Into left field again. He singled in the left his last at bat in the he singled in the left his last at bat in the second. He singled in the left again here. And Gold has got himself a knock to start this 4th inning for Washington. That's going to bring up John Radcliffe. He popped up to the shortstop his last at bat. Here's the pitch. That's outside, ball 1. Here's the 1-0. Swung on and missed. That's 0-1. I thought my camera went goofy there for a second. Here's the 1-1. That's through the gap into right field, base hit. Radcliffe will have a single. Gold is held at second. And now it's first and second. Nobody out here for Washington. Here's the first pitch. That's bunted. Over to first in time. That was Charlie Mills who puts the sac bunt down. 1-3. Gold gets to third. Going to second will be John Radcliffe. That's going to bring up Elmer White. He grounded out his first at bat. What's the countdown on stream? Why is this? Whoa. Why is this? There we go. That's how much time I have left on the stream. I use this as a. I'm sorry, I didn't realize I clicked that button off. It's a called strike for the first pitch. Whenever I stream, I use this countdown, or I have the ad timer, and then right below that I have the time left on stream. So if you ever bump into me on the weekends, it'll be something like it'll be something like, a 12-hour stream, and I might be doing Unreal Tournament, so you would want to see, like, I'd be like, oh, I'll play FM later, but I've got like 6 hours left of stream, so you can always pop out, pop in. Welcome in, Heindo. Any fucking chance, Benefer? Well, thank you for the raid, Heindo. How you doing, brother? How was your stream, man? You were, what's up, Scotsman? Patwitz! It's good to see you, man. Very short, really. You bastard. You've broken my stream streak there, then. You ready to get? Oh, yeah. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Were you just RPing? Do me a favor, please, Benny. What's up, Scotsman? Right. Go 1 to count. It's Elmer White who stepped in. He's grounded out his last at bat. Here's the first pitch to him. How you doing, Pat? By the way, that's way high for a ball. 1-1. Oh, I know better than to do that, bro. Come on, Scotsman. I know better than to do that. Yeah, mate, just a little RP stream. Nice. It was at a metal gig seeing a New York band's final Glasgow show. What's the name of the band? Bro, we're not going to be instigating here. I also broke the streak. It happens, Pat. I hope you're well, brother. I hope you're well. Here's the 1-1. That is grounded over to second, on to first, in time for the out. So 4-3, but that was shot with such vigor that Gold was able to come in to score. So it's actually going to be an RBI ground out for Elmer White. Let me get that in here. RBI, 4-3 is the put out. Radcliffe goes to third. Now there's 2 away in the 4th, and we got ourselves a tie game. Impulse. What's good, man? Stray from the path. Sir Benjamin Jr. the Second. I don't know why. Where's that come from? Very anti-establishment. Okay. Okay, gotcha. This game looks sick. If you like baseball, it's amazing. Anti-establishmentarianism. Like Rage Against the Machine, but utter maniacal. They've got a song called 3. That's basically anti-cop song. Okay. Let me get you down here, Impulse. And I also can star your name because we're going to wind up shouting you out later. It's called 3 because, yeah, I got you. Right, love and leave, y'all. Bedtime. Yeah, I know it's late there. Good night, Scotsman. Right, we've got ourselves runner on third, 2 out here. Al Pratt, the pitcher, is now settling in. He reached via an error his last at bat. Here's the first pitch to him. That is popped into right, and it just lands foul. That's pretty cool. Signed drumstick. That's pretty cool. That's fucking awesome, actually. Here's the 0-1. That's grounded over to second. On to first. That's in time. That will retire the side. 1 run on 2 hits, and they leave 1 aboard. We go bottom 4th here in Rockford, and we got ourselves a tie game at 2. Due up first for the Rockford Forest Citys will be Doug Allison, the catcher. We are going to take a 90-second timeout. We'll be back with more in a minute and a half. Welcome back. Bottom 4th here in Rockford. Tie game here. Add to my collection of signed merch. Nice. You know what? I'm an idiot. I ordered off Amazon the other day, right? Because I have this like energy drink that I buy off there. It's like energized water. And I also bought shampoo because I was running low on shampoo, right? So I could have told you that you're an idiot for free. No, it actually like don't get me started. It's caffeinated water, and I have stomach and esophagus problems. So coffee usually tears me up. So I usually have like a mocha, like a cold mocha instead of a cup of coffee in the morning. But in the afternoon I want something, and it's mixed B vitamins and caffeine. So it gives you energy through the B vitamins, natural energy, and it gives you caffeine as well. And it's like very low sugar, which is nice. And very low calorie. It's pretty good stuff. But anyway, I had to order that. And I wanted to get free shipping. And I was like $12 or $13 short, right? So I saw somebody was selling a brand new unopened copy of Pete Tong's Essential Selection Summer 1994. And I was like, I fucking want that. Because you guys know I like house music. And that's a Pete Tong CD from 1994. Unopened. For 16 bucks. So I'm going to buy it. What I forgot to look is the country that was shipping it. So it's coming out of the UK. Which means when it gets here, I'm going to have to pay a tariff on it. And if you ever see the tariff, they don't charge you the fucking tariff. They charge you everything else. Like, they charge you everything on top of that. Like, I had a 20% duties, right? I had a this is the invoice I had for the photography book I had, right? 80 cents on for the customs form, 80 cents for the nameplates and everything else. $1.20. $1.20 they charged me on the plastic handles, knobs, and other merch. $1 for the pocket articles. $1.60 on the plastic. $2.40 on the fabric. $2.16. No, I'm sorry. What else did they charge me for? Fucking duty and import fee is what they charged me as well. Like, it's outright. They charged me for everything. In the end, I was made to pay $50 fucking dollars. I'm trying to look what else they fucking charged me for. But yeah, it's like they charge you with all these bullshit fees. Charge you for the play. Yeah. Literally, okay, so you have the commercial invoice which lists the goods, right? And then which the commercial invoice is a document the U.S. uses to list the goods. Photography photo book, photography photo card, badges with pin designs, keychains, coin case, and signature board and a plastic keycap, right? And some chocolate. Okay? That was what I had, okay? So for the photo book, the photo book was free. They charged me $80 for the customs forms. The photo card they charged me 80 cents for. The fucking keychain they charged me $1.20. The coin case they charged me $1. The keycap they charged me $1.60. And the last item they charged me $2.40. It's like they just fucking get wrecked. Yeah. It's worth $50. Yeah, I know. So it's sick. I paid 16 bucks for it, right? But I'm going to get hit with probably about a $16 tariff. So I'm literally going to have to pay for it twice. The tariff coming out of the UK is only 10%, but it's literally going to be 10%. Plus, they're probably going to tack on all the bullshit. You know what I mean? So, right. Last time I order anything, man. Last time I order anything. So I literally got charged a fee for the packaging material. Like it's built into the invoice. The packaging material. This is like a bubble envelope. I got charged for that. I was like, what the fuck? Anyway. Bottom fourth. Doug Allison due up. Here we go. First pitch to Allison. That's a call. Strike. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That's swung on. That's going to be a base hit. Doug Allison is aboard. He's got himself a base hit. He's the single to lead off things for Rockford. 2-2 ball game here. Runner on first. Nobody out. That's going to bring up Joe Start, the first baseman. He popped up to the third baseman his last at bat. Here's the pitch. He's bunted it down. And they throw him out at first. Second baseman coming over to cover. So 3-4 Sack on the put out is the decision. So sack 3, 4, and that's going to get Doug Allison over to second. F1. I saw that the McLarens got disqualified, and I feel like that's a little bullshit. But I feel like the FIA did that just to make the championship close. But that's I know that's a conspiracy theory, but still, yeah, they broke a safety rule. I don't know what rule they broke. Somebody just keeps telling me they broke a rule. I don't follow F1 that close to know what rule they broke, and the width of the plank. By how much? That's the question. By how much? That'll bring up George Bird. He had an RBI double his last at bat. Here is a runner on second. 1 out here. It was under 9 millimeters, which is the limit. I take it that's in the thickness, right? I take it that's in the 9 millimeters in the thickness of the plank, not the width of the plank, right? Here's the first pitch to George Bird. Swung on a miss. That's 0-1. 9 millimeters remain. Okay, yeah. And it was 8.4 millimeters. How the fuck? Well, that's my only thing. Like, how do you measure 8.4 millimeters to 9 millimeters? Who's even? Do you know what I mean? How do you even like that? That shit's crazy. Here's the 0-1 pitch to George Bird. And that's going to be might be a wild pitch. It is a wild pitch. And going to third is Doug Allison. And now there's a runner 90 feet away. Go, no-go, Gage. We're go, Stewart. What's good, man? Welcome in. Congrats, man. You're now the last shout-out of the night. No, I know what the plank does. I'm just saying who can tell 8.4 millimeters from 9? I couldn't. Even with a measuring stick, I couldn't. 1-1 pitch. I'm not saying they didn't break the rules. But I'm just saying I would have never been able to detect that. So we do it always, yeah. We work in aviation repair. That's honestly a fair point. Some of those guys are going to be engineers of that quality. That you are right. So due to excessive sparking. Gotcha. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That is that's going to be a run. That's going to go to the backstop. The throw over is definitely not in time. It's back-to-back wild pitches. And scoring is Allison, and Rockford, for the third time this game, take the lead. Two one the count. That makes sense. That makes total sense, Heindo. I am now educated on the topic. Thank you. I definitely agree with your assessment now. They had more proportioning than expected because they didn't get good runs per race with the rain. Gotcha. Less wood, less there. Yeah, no, I understand. That I understand the aerodynamics around it and why the plank exists. I was just like, how the fuck do you measure 0.6 of a millimeter? But Ewan has said it. You know, these guys are going to be engineers on the quality of like an aerospace engineer. You know what I mean? That level of detail that they have. And I'm like, you know what? That's a fair assessment. They're gonna be able to find that. You know. So I fucking hope not. Right, here's the 2-1 pitch. He's popped that up in the infield, right at home plate. Who wants it? Second baseman's come over for it. He's gonna make the play. I don't know why the catcher couldn't name that one or grab that one, but nonetheless, it's an out. And it will bring up George Wright, the shortstop. Nobody on, 2 out here. Here's the first pitch to George Wright. That's in the dirt, 1-0. Here's the 1-0. That's grounded over to second, on to first, in time, and that will retire the side. 1 run on 1 hit, and the bases were left empty. We go top 5th here. It's a 3-2 ball game. Rockford back in the lead. Right, new inning means new sponsor. How we roll, Owen, is a great FM streamer, and he's got an awesome save going on. Give him a follow if you haven't already. Super fun to talk to, and you know he's got a lot of respect for me because he's a Birds fan. Go Birds, and go over to Owen's Twitch and check him out. He is our sponsor for this 5th inning. So what is the state of this league? What, like, you mean the standings? You want to know who's leading? Boston is leading. I think they're 8-2. They're leading the American League. Back then, the American League National League didn't exist, but they created it in the game just to have a World Series and emulate a championship. But Boston is currently the best team in baseball. They're 8-2. The worst team in baseball are the Troy Haymakers. They are 3-9. They're in the National League. We're 4th in the National League at 4-8. And then I think ahead of us is the New York Mutuals. I can't remember what their record is because it's been a while since they played. And then at the top is, I think, the is it the Cleveland Forest Citys are top? No, I think they're AL. Who's top? It's going to come to me. It's going to come to me. The Fort Wayne Kekiungas are top, I believe, if I remember correctly. In the American League, the Washington Olympics are the worst team. They're 4-5. That's who we're playing right now. And then the Cleveland Forest Citys, I think, are second or are third. The Philadelphia Athletics are second, and they're, I think, 6-2. And the Boston Red Stockings are top. They are 8-2. The Boston Red Stockings actually eventually become the Atlanta Braves. The Philadelphia Athletics eventually become the Kansas City Athletics, who then eventually become the Oakland Athletics, who then eventually become just the Athletics because they're preparing for a move into Las Vegas to become the Las Vegas Athletics, which I think starts either this upcoming year in baseball in 2026 or it'll be the next year in 2027. But yeah, all those teams move around. So like for IRL, the Troy Haymakers fold during the 1872 season. They go bankrupt in the middle of the 1872 season, right? That's what happened to IRL historically. The game lets them run out the 1872 season, and then they just become the Philadelphia White Stockings, or the Philadelphia Whites for short. Then they eventually get renamed to one. I think they eventually become the Phillies, or somebody else becomes the Phillies. And I think the Whites move to Chicago and become the Chicago White Stockings. So what's actually left in Oakland? Krakow gone, Raiders gone, A's gone. There is no professional sports left in Oakland, California. And I think that's very sad. Right, top 5th here. Leading off will be Ed Duffy, the second baseman. He's 0 for 1. Here's the first pitch to Duffy. And that's a called strike. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That's inside 1-1. Oh, fuck. The Oilers game. I totally forgot about that. A bridge to San Fran. Yeah. Oakland left their heart in San Francisco site now. The Oakland fans would be so mad at me if I said that. Right. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Check swing, but it's a called strike anyway, and it's 1-2. The only thing I left in is a way out, yeah. Because the Golden State Warriors are in San Fran. The 49ers are in San Fran. The Giants are in San Fran. And they don't. San Francisco does not have a hockey team, nor does it have a MLS side. So, yeah, there's nothing left in Oakland. 1-2 pitch here. Off the plate away. It's 2-2. Yeah, 2-2. Yeah, the San Francisco Giants, the MLB team. They are in San Fran. So San Fran's got 3 teams: Golden State, the 49ers, and the Giants. Here's the 2-2. And that is popped up in shallow center. Shortstop comes over to make the play, and that will be the first out of the inning. That'll bring up Tom Foley, the center fielder. He's 1 for 2 with a single. Right, it's been fun. It is bedtime night, mate. Have a great night, Owen. Thank you for coming here. I appreciate you, brother. It was great seeing you. I'll be sure to catch you whenever you're live. And have a great night. I wonder why I don't have an 8. It must be the heat. Yeah, you say that, but then, like, L.A. has a team. Arizona had a team. Texas has a team, in the Dallas Stars. So, how's stream going, bro? Going good. 3-2, pretty good game. Pretty back and forth if you look at the box score, actually, Buck. The box score pretty much tells you everything you need to know about this. It's been very back and forth. Right. Here's the first pitch to Tom Foley. Love a competitive game? Absolutely. It's grounded in front of the mound. Oh, no! It's an error on the catcher. Doug Allison commits the 3rd error of the night for for Rockford. And Tom Foley is aboard with 1 out. How have you been, Buck? Because it's been a while since I've been able to talk to you, man. I hope you're well. And how's the family doing as well? Right, that'll bring up left fielder Ned Cuthbert. He is 0 for 1. Here's the first pitch to Cuthbert. Throw over to first. And a runner's back safely. Throw over to first. And a runner's back in time. Here's the first pitch. That's a called strike. It's 0-1. Oh my, just climbed into bed. What a feeling. Nice. You off too, Heindo? I got you in the next inning, Heindo. And then I got Impulse in the 7th. And I got Stewart in the 8th. Oh, I'm sorry. I got Patwitz in the 7th. Or I got Patwitz in the 7th, Impulse in the 8th, and Stewart in the 9th. I'm not tired yet. I got you. Right. Here's the 0-1. That's grounded over to second. On to second for 1. And it's back to first in time for the 6-3 double play. And that's going to retire the side. No runs or no hits. They leave nobody aboard. We go bottom 5th here in Rockford. And it's a 3-2 ball game. Due up first for the Rockford Forest Citys is pitcher Dick McBride. Oh, nice, man. Enjoy. And we are going to take a 90-second timeout. We'll be back with more in just a minute and a half. Right, welcome back. Bottom fifth here in Rockford. Game time currently 1 hour, 11 minutes. Guy was trying to have a nice, heartfelt moment. Crowd burst into no Scotland, no party. I can see him tear it up. Oh, man. That's awesome. I'm happy you guys are going to the World Cup, man. It's been too long. Here's the first pitch to Dick McBride. That's a called strike. It's 0-1. On most band tours, really. Different kettle of crowd up here. Nice. Here's the 0-1. That's a called strike. It's 0-2. Where are... So... Listen, Heindo, I don't remember, so forgive me for the questions I'm about to ask. What is the actual capital of Scotland? Is it Glasgow or is it Edinburgh? Or Edinburgh? Edinburgh, right. So, Rangers are in Edinburgh too, right? No, they're in Glasgow. Okay, and Celtic are Celtic also in Glasgow? Okay. So then let me ask, where are Hearts? East End and South. Got you. Hibs and Hearts are in Edinburgh. Okay, cool. All right, awesome. That makes so much sense now. And you support. And wait, are you a Heart? Wait, I support Hamilton Aggies. That's right. Right. Here's the 0-2. Okay, that makes sense. And that is fouled to the backstop. 14 miles south of Glasgow. Gotcha. Here's the 0-2 again. And that is shot into right. And it's a sliding catch. He's made the play. What a play by right fielder Lip Pike. I'm sorry, that's not by Lip Pike. By right fielder Elmer White. Sliding in, he makes the catch. And Dick McBride is retired. That'll bring up the top of the order Cap Anson, who's 0 for 2 so far today. Here's the first pitch to Anson. And that is shot in the left, but right at the left fielder, and that'll be the second out of the inning. That's going to bring up George Hall, the left fielder. He is 1 for 2 so far today. Here's the pitch to Hall. That's off the plate away, 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That's check swing. They go to third. He didn't go. It's 0-2. Or it's 2-0, sorry. Here's the 2-0 pitch. And he's chopped that foul. A singer from Venezuela, the bassist from France, the drummers from New Zealand. That's pretty fucking cool. Here's the 2-1. Swung on and missed. That's 2-2. Must be a pain in the arse to organize band practice. That's pretty cool, though. That's an awesome story. It's like my mate. My mate's a Derby County fan. He was born in Derby. She was dope. Nice, man. But he was born in Derby, and he met his now wife. She was an international, I don't know what you guys call them over there. We call them exchange students, but she was a exchange / international student, right? And she was in the UK. He worked at a university, I think, and she was studying there. And she's only like 3 or 4 years younger than him. And they wound up dating. And she went back to Ecuador after her studies were done. And he flew over there all the time to meet her family and be with her. He used to do at least 1 to 2 trips a year for like a week or 2 at a time. And she started returning the favor. And then they got married. And now they're married. And I think he's, right now, I don't know if they live in Derby, because his dad was pretty old. So I was like, I would imagine they want to take care of him. But I don't know. They could be back in Ecuador. I'm not 100% sure. I think they're in the UK still. And yes, there is an IRL Derby fan. Who do we want to win this game? Rockford. Why? Because I manage Rockford. The Rockford Forest Citys. So, nobody. The Red Stockings aren't even in this game. They might be in the next one. I don't know. You guys might be deciding who we watch next, actually, tonight at the end. Right, first pitch here. This is George Hall, left fielder. Or, I'm sorry, not first pitch. It's a 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. He struck out. And that is going to retire the side. No runs, no hits, nobody left on base. We go top 6. It's 3-2 Rockford. There's a team name, Heindo. There's the Boston Red Stockings. That's the team. Yes, that's the Red Sox means short. So they used to wear actual stockings that would go up to like the knee, and then they became stirrups. But back in the day, they used to wear actual like stocking that went all the way up to the knee. And you know, that's where you get the name White Stockings, because the white stockings would be white. You know, the stockings would be white, or the red stockings they would be red, or the black stockings they would be black. Eventually, they didn't use the stockings anymore. They became stirrups, which only go to about that high. If you can see my foot, I don't know if you can, but they go about that high. And players didn't want to use the stirrups, so they started, like just above ankle. They started just wearing socks instead of the stirrups. So that's when you got the red socks and the white socks instead of the stockings. So, but in this save right now, we have one team called the Boston Red Stockings, and that's their name. Right. He's an awesome streamer. He does GTA RP, which is really interesting, actually. His RP streams are great. We play F1 with him in the midweek. He also streams Football Manager. Give him a follow if you're not already. The fantastic Scotsman Heindo. He is our sponsor for this 6th inning here tonight. Dick McBride still on the mound. John Bass, the shortstop, settling in to start off this 6th inning. Here's the first pitch. And that is shot back up the middle, base hit. And it's an error in the outfield as well. It's an E8. So the center fielder, George Bird, commits his second error of the night. It gets recorded as a single, and then he advances base on the error. And John Bass is on second base with nobody out here for Washington. Georgie having a fucking nightmare. He is. I got 3 players named George on my Rockford team. George Hall, George Bird, and George Wright. Here's Charlie Gold settling in, the first baseman. He is 2 for 2 so far today. Here's the first pitch. That's foul to the backstop. It's 0-1. George the first, George the second. It's like it's going to be like I'm just going to rename the team the George Foremans, and every player is going to be named George. If you don't understand that joke, I can't explain it. But right, here's the 0-1 pitch. That's fouled to the backstop again. It's 0-2. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That is shot in the left. And that is going to be the first down of the inning. Lean, mean home run machine? No. George Foreman was a boxer. And he has, I think, 9 kids. And I think 8 of them are sons. And all of them are named George. He also released a grill. Can we know him as a champion? Yes, I agree. And it's actually a really nice grill. Don't get me wrong. I actually have one. But can we know him as a championship winning boxer, please? A 2-time world heavyweight champion. I think he's more than that, but still. He won the world heavyweight championship when he was like 40 years old. It was one of the greatest fights ever. It's like an instant classic fight. I was seeing somebody talk about that yesterday. It's like your legacy is not defined by what you do. It's defined how other people know you. And he's like, George Foreman, big tough man, world heavyweight champion multiple times, Olympic gold medalist. What does everybody know him for? He released a grilling machine. I'm like, God damn it, don't do that to George. Don't do that to the man. He deserves better. Justice for George. Here's the first pitch, the third baseman, John Radcliffe. It was 1 for 2 today. That is into right at the right fielder, and he will make the play. The lean, mean grilling machine. I mean, look at Marshawn Lynch, known for Skittles and press conferences. I'm just here so I won't get fined. I don't have to do that to poor Marshawn, man. I don't have to do it to poor Marshawn. Right. 2 outs, runner on second. It'll be Charlie Mills stepping in. He is 0 for 1 so far today. Here's the first pitch. And that's popped up in the infield. They get the runner on second base, but they cannot bring him home. And that is going to retire the side. No runs, no hits. No runs on 1 hit, and they leave 1 aboard. We go bottom 6th here in Rockford, and this score is still 3-2. Due up first for the Rockford Forest Citys will be second baseman Ross Barnes, who is 0 for 1 so far today. We are going to take a quick 90-second timeout. We'll be back with more in just a minute and a half. Welcome back. Bottom sixth here in Rockford. 3-2 game. Very close ball game here between these two. Ross Barnes settles in. Here's the first pitch to him to start this sixth inning. And this is shot into right, and it just lands foul. It's literally like the only hockey game tonight and we're losing. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That is shot right at the second baseman, and that will be the first out of the inning. L4 from the put. It's going to bring up Lip Pike. He is 0 for 2 so far today. First pitch to Pike. That is off the plate away. It is 0-1. Here's the 0-1 to Pike. Or the 1-0 to Pike, sorry. And he has lined that right into center field. Base hit. Lip Pike is aboard with a single. That'll bring up catcher Doug Allison. Allison is currently 1 for 2 with a single. Here's the first pitch to Allison. A lot of speed over at first. We'll see if they use it. This is up the middle. This is through. It's a base hit. Pike is going to be held at second. It's back-to-back base hits. And now Rockford have got something going maybe here in the sixth. First and second, just one out. That's going to bring up Joe Start. He's 0 for 1 so far today. First pitch to start. That's high and in. 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch. And that is grounded over to first. On to second for 1. Back to first. Not in time. It's a fielder's choice for Joe Start. He beats the throw. 3-6 on the fielder's choice. That should be 6-3. 6-3. Fielder's choice. FC 6-3. Pike goes to third. Allison is retired. Now runners on the corners with 2 outs here. That will bring up George Bird. He had an RBI double earlier in this game. He's 1 for 2. Big at bat here in this game. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. The throw over to first. He's back in time. Here's the 0-1. And that is lined into left. Drifting foul. And he is flied out. The left fielder goes over. He will make the catch, and that will retire the side. No runs on 2 hits. They leave 2 on base. We go top 7th. It's a 3-2 ball game. Due up first for the Washington Olympics will be right fielder Elmer White. He is 0 for 2 with an RBI. New inning means new sponsor. He streams Apex Legends. He streams Football Manager. He streams F1 Manager as well. He's a pretty awesome guy. He's the Philippines' greatest streamer. Give him a follow if you haven't already. Patwitz is our sponsor for this 7th inning. Here's the first pitch to Elmer White. That's over to third. On to first. It's a bad throw. It's a bad throw. It's Cap, and he can't go a game without making an error. And it's Cap Anson who does. And it's an E5, and Elmer White is aboard to start this 7th inning for Washington. That's going to bring up pitcher Al Pratt. He's over 2 so far today. Here's the first pitch to Pratt. He has grounded that back up to short. And it's a fielding error. No, it's considered hit strongly enough that it's going to be given as an infield single by the scorer. Going to second is Elmer White. And now it is first and second. Nobody out for Washington here. They've got an opportunity in the top of the seventh. That's going to bring up Ed Duffy, the top of the order. He is 0 for 2 so far today. Here's the first pitch to Duffy now. And that's taken for a called strike. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Duffy. Swung on, grounded over to shortstop. That's on to second for one. They can't get the throw over to first. And so Duffy is aboard on a 6-4 fielder's choice. And going to third is Elmer White. And Pratt is retired at second. Runners on the corners, one out. That'll bring up center fielder Tom Foley. He is 1 for 3 so far today. Here's the first pitch to Foley. That is shot up the middle, base hit, and this game is tied. Foley's got an RBI single, and Duffy's going to head over to third. Duffy's going to go to second, and it is an RBI single for Tom Foley, and it's a 3-3 ball game all of a sudden. Ninth edge stuff the whole way in this game. Ned Cuthbert settles in now. He is 0 for 2. He grounded into a double play his last at bat. First and second, one out. And having coffee in the moment. Nice. Welcome back, Pat. I hope you're well, man. Here's the pitch to Ned Cuthbert. And that's a ball, 1-0. Throw over to third. Nice. Not in time. It's a double steal. It's a double steal. Stealing second is Foley. Stealing third is Duffy. And now it's two runners in scoring position with just one out here. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That's inside, ball 2. 2-0 pitch. Called strike. It's 2-1. Here's the 2-1 pitch now. That's a called strike at the letters, and it's 2-2. The 2-2 pitch. That's popped up into center field. The center fielder's got it. The throw comes in. Does the runner tag up? No. And that is a much needed out. A huge out for Rockford. It takes the sack run out of the equation. Now they just got to get the out here. And stepping into the batter's box will be John Bass, who's 1 for 3, singled his last at bat. Second and third, 2 outs, tie game. Here's the first pitch. And that is inside for a ball, 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swung on and missed. That's 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That's taken off the plate away, 2-1 now. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Off the plate, it's high as well, 3-1. It's a hitter's count to John Bass. With runners in scoring position, here's the pitch. That's grounded foul. And now the full count here. Strike 3 called. He struck him out. He gets the old backwards K, does John Bass, and the Rockford Forest Citys get out of the inning with limited damage. Run on 2 hits. They leave 2 aboard. We go bottom 7th here in Rockford. It's a tie game, and now it's time for a time-honored tradition here in baseball. We're going to step away and take a 2 to 3 minute break. In the meantime, please enjoy this rendition put together by Harrison Scheckler of "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." We'll be right back. You heard him. Play ball. Hey, it Kit. Before bed, I just finished an insane season with my Sunderland team. I need the details, Kit. I need the details. If you're too tired to tell me the details, I'll try to remember to tell you in the next time I see you. But welcome in. Thank you for stopping in. Thank you for just popping in. I appreciate it either way, Kit. Really. I thought the song was in the game. It is sometimes. Like, sometimes you can hear the organ play it in the game as part of the background stadium noise. Sometimes they don't. But I don't know. Not that version. Certainly not that version. Right. It's bottom seventh here in Rockford. Settling in will be George Wright, the shortstop. Here's the first pitch from Al Pratt. And Wright shoots that in the left. That's going to drop. It's a base hit. It's going to go. That should be a double for George Wright. He's going to slide in safe at second base. And George Wright has done Rockford a huge spot here. A leadoff double in the 7th inning. That brings up pitcher Dick McBride. He's 0 for 2 so far today. But there's a runner in scoring position, and there is nobody out. Here's the first pitch to Dick McBride. That is a ball, 1-0. So you lost the Community Shield, won the Super Cup versus a back-to-back Champions League winning Liverpool, out in the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup. Then you beat Liverpool in the FA Cup final. Let's go. You're 1 point off the Premier League title, and you beat Real Madrid in the Champions League final. Now I need to lower my heart rate. Yeah, I get that. Congrats. That's a double winning season. That's awesome. Right, here's the 1-0 pitch. That's off the plate away. 2-0. Here's the 2-0. That's a called strike at 2-1. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. That's 2-2. We're not playing FM this week because I have to plow through the offseason. I will say I got through, I think it's the first 37 or 39 days of the offseason, and I still have like 85 or 95 left. So I'm like, all right, 3 trophies include the Super Cup, but we are not good enough to get this close to the treble. Okay. Yeah, but still, what a season, you know? That's a great season. Oh my God, my Oilers are just getting smoked. Right, 2-2. Here's the pitch. Grounded over to first. Pitcher's over there. He covers for the first baseman. That'll be the first out of the inning. So 3-1 is the put out, but it does move right over to second base, or to third base. And now there's a runner 90 feet away with just 1 out. That'll bring up the top of the order, and Cap Anson, he's 0 for 3 so far today. Here's the first pitch to Anson. And that's going to go, oh, it almost went to the backstop, but it's inside, ball 1. Here's the 1-0. That's chopped foul. It'll be 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That's grounded over towards, ooh, it's through. It's a base hit. And it is an RBI single for Cap Anson. He delivers. Coming in to score is George Wright. And Rockford, for the 4th time in this game, have the lead. That's going to bring up George Hall. He is currently 1 for 3 so far today. Hall taking a first pitch. That's a called strike. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. That's a called strike. It's 0-2 over to second base and caught stealing his cap, Anson. He's thrown out at second base. Now no runner at all on base for Wright. Here's the 0-2 pitch. And Wright grounds that over to first. He'll take it to the bag himself, and that will retire the side. 1 run on 2 hits, and nobody left on base. We go top 8th here in Rockford. And the Forest Citys jump back into the lead 4-3. Due up first for the Washington Olympics is first baseman Charlie Gold. He is 2 for 3 so far today. Shout out to Impulse Reflex. He plays GTA 5 RP. Pretty cool. He does it a lot of the times with Heindo. They're in the same RP server together. Give him a follow if you're not already. Impulse Reflex sponsors our 8th inning here tonight. Top 8th, Charlie Gold settling in. Here's the first pitch to him. That is swung on, grounded over to second. On to first in time, and that is going to be the first out of the inning. That'll bring up John Radcliffe. He is 1 for 3 so far today. Nobody on, 1 out here in the 8th. Here's the first pitch to him. And he's popped that up in the infield. Shortstop's over, and he makes the grab, and that is the second out of the inning. That's going to bring up catcher Charlie Mills. He's 0 for 2 so far today. Here's the pitch. And that's swung on over to short. Deep throw from short in time. And that retires the side. 3 pitches, 3 outs. And we go bottom 8th here in Rockford. The Forest Citys holding on to a 4-3 lead. We are going to take a 90-second timeout. We will be back with more in a minute and a half. Right, welcome back. Bottom 8th here in Rockford, 4-3 game. Ross Barnes, the second baseman, is due up next. Due up first. He is 0 for 2 so far today. Tight game here, bottom eighth. Here's the first pitch to Barnes. And that's taken off the plate in. It's 1-0. Here's the 1-0. That's a called strike. It's 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swung on, that's popped up in the infield. And that'll be grabbed by the first baseman. That's the first out of the inning. P3 on the putout. Charlie Gold getting the putout. And now that'll bring up right fielder Lip Pike. He had a single his last at bat. He's 1 for 3 so far today. Here's the first pitch to Pike. That's high and away, ball 1. Here's the 1-0. That is absolutely crushed in the deep left center field, and it's way out of here. It's a solo blast from Lip Pike, and he gives Rockford a little bit of insurance. It's now 5-3. Pike with an absolute rocket in the left center field. And Rockford lead by 2. That's going to bring up catcher Doug Allison. He's 2 for 3 so far today. Here's the first pitch to Allison. That's a called strike. It's 0-1. He came in here on, I think he came in here on Saturday morning, but he said he was busy. And he came in here, I think, one day in the middle of, like, maybe it was the Thursday stream he came in here as well. No, I think he came in here just Saturday last week. But yeah, he's been around. He's just been busy. It's great that you're thinking of him, though. You know, I think that's really cool. But yeah, he's been here. He just hasn't been able to stop in. You know, he's got other stuff that's going on. That's all. Right. 2 for 3, Doug Allison. Here's the first pitch, or here's the 0-1 pitch. That's off the plate away, 1-1. That's kind of why I also like recording this series, because people can catch up with it. And he's told me before that if he misses a stream, he'll watch the YouTube VOD, which I think is really cool. That's the whole reason I put VODs on YouTube. I'm like, right. At least now that vindicates me, you know, or how I feel about it, because I thought I could be putting them up there for the longest time for like nothing. You know what I mean? But you can't think like that. It's just for my collection, you know. So here's the 1-1. It's high and away, 2-1. I constantly have to remind myself of a few things whenever I stream. I think every streamer does. But, you know, ignore viewer count. Make sure you put yourself first and you're having fun first. Don't worry about, like, anything else that's going on. You know what I mean? It's very easy to get caught up in, like, looking at metrics, looking at data, looking at this, looking at that. And it's like, I have to remind myself sometimes to keep myself grounded. Here's the 2-1 pitch. And that is shot in the left. That is right at the left fielder, though. He's let it go over him. He's jumped for it. He misjudged it. And it's going to go down as a double. And I thought that was a certain out. The left fielder looked really lackadaisical getting into position. And then he realized it was over him, and he jumped, and it went over his head. And so it's a double for Doug Allison. Runner on second, 1 out. It's Joe Start who's going to settle it. He's 0 for 3. Here's the first pitch. And that is popped up behind home plate. Catcher's over there. He's going to make the grab, and that is the second out of the inning. Center fielder George Bird settles in. He is 1 for 3. with an RBI. Here's the first pitch. And that is lined into center field. That is going to be a base hit. It drops. Is it going to be a double? No. Allison is held at third base. And Starks got himself a single. And it's first and third with with 2 outs. That brings up shortstop George Wright. He doubled in the last inning. 1 for 3 so far today. And here's the pitch to Wright. And he has shot that through. That's a good stop. It's a bad throw, though. And it's going to get umpire aboard. It's an E3. Going to second is Bird. Coming in to score is Doug Allison. And it's now 6-3. That's going to bring up pitcher Dick McBride. Here's the first pitch to him. First, second, 2 outs. And he's popped up in the infield. Second baseman comes over, makes the grab, and the side is retired. 3 runs on 3 hits, and they leave 2 aboard. We go top 9th here in Rockford. The Forest Citys with a 6-3 lead. I still remember how crazy the game was against the Dodgers. Dude, the game, the whole series, Pat, the whole series was nuts. But that game 7 was, that was crazy. Fuck the Dodgers, though. Right, he's a retro game speedrun commentator. Give him a follow if you haven't already. He streams very rarely, but when he does, it's some retro games himself. DM Stewart is our sponsor for this 9th inning. Here's the first pitch. That's a called strike. It's 0-1. It's Elmer White at the plate. He is currently 0 for 3 with an RBI. Here's the 0-1. Called strike 2. And it's 0-2. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That's down and away, 1-2. The 1-2 pitch. Off the plate away, check swing. They go to third, and he didn't go. It's 2-2 now. Here's the 2-2 pitch. And that is shot in the left. That is deep in the left. But the left fielder's got enough room out there, and he will make the grab. And White is retired. This is probably going to be a pinch hitter coming in because the next spot is the pitcher's spot. So I'd imagine they'll pull Pratt for a pinch hitter, and that's exactly what they've done. Jim Carlton will now be the hitter. Carlton is 4 for 8 so far this season. And here's the first pitch to him from Dick McBride. That's off the plate away, 1-0. Here's the 1-0. That's low, 2-0. And a little bit ahead in the count now is Carlton. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That's a called strike. It's 2-1. The 2-1 pitch to Carlton. And he is lined that right at the first baseman, and that is the second out of the inning. That's going to bring up the top of the order, and Ed Duffy. He is currently 0 for 3 so far today. Washington is down to their final out, down by 3 here. Here's the first pitch to Duffy. Base is empty, and that is low, ball 1. Here's the 1-0. And he has popped that into right Right fielder's there. He makes the grab, and the ball game is over. Uh, the Rockford Forest Citys have won 2 in a row now after knocking off the Troy Haymakers in the previous game. They've come in here, real testy game. They've had to take the lead 4 times, but they've managed to close it out. The final here in the final here from the Agricultural Society Fairgrounds is Washington 3, Rockford 6. Game time 2 hours 6 minutes for this game in front of a crowd of 800 people. Let's go to your box scores now. You know how we do it. We're going to tally up the individual stats for all the players, starting with the visiting Washington Olympics. Ed Duffy, 4 at bats. He had no hits. He had 1 stolen base, and he also had a sac bunt. Tom Foley had 4 at bats. He had 2 hits, one of which was an RBI. He stole a base as well. Ned Cuthbert, he had 3 at bats. He did not get a single hit. He was also hit by the pitch. John Bass, he had 4 at bats. He had 1 hit, and he struck out once, and he also committed a fielding error. Charlie Gold, the first baseman, he had 4 at bats, 2 hits. He also scored a run, and he committed a fielding error. John Radcliffe had 4 at bats. He had 1 hit. Charlie Mills had 3 at bats. He did not have a hit. He had a sac bunt. Elmer White had 4 at bats. He did not have a hit, but he did have an RBI. Al Pratt had 3 at bats. He had 1 hit. He scored 1 run. Where are the runs? Who scored the runs? Because they scored 3 runs. And right now I see 2. So who scored the 3rd run? I think it was Duffy. Was it Duffy that scored the run? Gold, White, and Pratt. Gold, White. Oh, White scored it in the 7th. I never completed his base path. There we go. So White had the run. Gotcha. And then Al Pratt 1 for 3 with a run as well. Jim Carlton was 0 for 1. Total bats for the Washington Olympics: 4, 8, 11, 15, 19, 23, 26, 30, 34 at bats. Total hits: I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits. That is correct. Total runs was 3. No doubles, no triples, no home runs, no base on balls. 2 fielding errors I have from. They had 3 fielding errors. Who made the other fielding error? E3. Charlie Gold. E6. That's the shortstop, John Bass. And then, Gold made 2. I forgot to mark that he made 2. Gold made 2 fielding errors. Gotcha. And then the third is, so 3 errors in total. They had the 2 RBIs. They also had the strikeout, and they had 2 sac bunts and a stolen base. We'll come back to the pitchers. Now the hitting for the Rockford Forest Citys. Cap Anson had 4 at-bats. He had 1 hit. He had 1 RBI. He was caught stealing. He had 1 fielding error. George Hall had 4 at-bats. He had 1 hit. He also struck out once. Ross Barnes had 4 at-bats. No, sorry, he had 3 at-bats. He did not record a hit. He was caught stealing, and he had a base on balls. Lip Pike had 4 at-bats. He had 2 hits. 1 of them was the home run. He had a stolen base. He had 2 runs, and he had an RBI. Doug Allison had 4 at-bats. He had 3 hits. one of which was a double. He scored 2 runs. He also committed a fielding error. Joe Start had 4 at-bats. He did not. I'm sorry, he had 3 at-bats. 3 at-bats. He did not record a hit, and he had a sacrifice bunt. Um, George Bird had 4 at-bats. 2 of them were hits. One of them was a double. He had 1 RBI, and he had 2 fielding errors. George Wright, he had 4 at-bats. One of them was the hit. One of them was a double. It was a double, and he scored a run, and he committed a fielding error. Dick McBride had 4 at-bats. He did not record a hit, but he did record a run. So total at-bats for the Rockford Forest Citys, 4 and 8 and 11 and 15 and 19 and 22 and 26 and 34 and 38. Runs scored 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hits, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is correct. Fielding errors, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is correct as well. Total doubles, 1, 2, 3. Total triples, none. 1 home run, 1 strikeout, 1 sack, 1 stolen base, and I think 1 sack bunt as well. RBIs, 1, 2, 3. And fielding errors, I had, let me get that, I had 5. Base on balls was 1. I wrote it in the wrong column. Right. On to the pitchers. Al Pratt will be credited with the loss. He pitched 8 innings. I have his pitch count at 94. That is correct. I have 1 base on balls, 1 strikeout, 10 hits, 6 runs, but only 3 of them were earned. For Dick McBride, he's getting credited for the win. 9 innings pitched. I have 88 pitches. Yeah, and that is correct. That is phenomenal for 9 innings pitched. That is actually insane for 9 innings pitched. He did not walk. He struck out 1 looking. He gave up, 7 hits, only 3 runs, and 1 of them was earned. So Dick McBride now 4 for 6. Al Pratt goes to 4 and 5. So 4 and 6 and 4 and 5 now between these two. Let's leave the game. The attendance was 800. Game time was 2:07. Right. We're going to finish the day. I don't think there's any other scores from today. There is. The Troy Haymakers got a big win. They walked it off against the Philadelphia Athletics. That's a big loss for the Athletics, who are chasing down the Boston Red Stockings in the American League. We're trying to put separation between us and Troy, so that's not particularly helpful, but that is a big win for Troy. Now comes the poll time. I'm going to set it up. I'm still keeping the recording on, but we are going to poll. Thomas with a 7-stream streak. Welcome in, brother. I hope you're doing better, man. How's the start of your week been? God bless you, brother. I've been thinking about you, man. Hello, chat, popping in. Hello, Benny and chat, popping in before you end. I appreciate it, man. We got a poll to give out. And the question in the poll is, what game do you want to watch next? Our choices are the Philadelphia Athletics, 6 and 3, 3 and 2 on the road, at the 4 and 4 Cleveland Forest Citys, who are 2 and 2 at home, or the 4 and 9 Troy Haymakers, who are 0 and 7 on the road, against the 4 and 6 Washington Olympics, who are 4 and 2 on the road. We're going to set the poll up right now. The poll is up for 5 minutes. You guys get to vote what you want to watch in the next Out of the Park baseball stream. 5 minutes. The poll is up. Philadelphia at Cleveland or Troy at Washington. Still not great, man. Had a funeral on Monday for the family. It was tough, but I appreciate it, man. My condolences, man. I'm very sorry, Thomas. I know you're going through a really rough patch, but if you ever need to talk, just reach out to me, man. I'm not great at having those conversations, but my Discord is always open for you to have those conversations should you need to, man. Um, and again, my condolences, dude. Family friend that was supposed to say, yeah, I know. I remember you telling me now last week. So, um, right. Let's take a look at the standings real quick while you guys vote on that. In the American League, Boston Red Stockings are 8-2. They are now a game and a half ahead of the Philadelphia Athletics, who moved to 6-3. The Cleveland Forest Citys remain 3 games back at 4-4. Washington Olympics, with today's loss, fall 4 games back. They are 4-6. The Chicago White Stockings lead the National League. They are 4-3. They are only a half game ahead of the Fort Wayne Kekiungas, who are 6-6. The New York Mutuals are also a half game back at 4-4. The Rockford Forest Citys, that's us, now move up to 5-8 on the season. We are 2 games out of first place. The Troy Haymakers wins keeps them 3 games back at 4-9. It is now the 6th of June in the save. That is going to be the next game. The 7th will not have a game. The 8th will have Chicago versus at Rockford. That should be a pretty interesting. That's a big game in the National League. And then the 9th will be Rockford at Troy, followed by Rockford at Cleveland on the 10th. We don't come back until the 13th. That's Chicago at New York. Washington at Rockford on the 15th. Philadelphia at Washington on the 16th. And then on the 18th, we will have your choice of Chicago at Philadelphia or Washington at Boston. Chicago at Philadelphia will be on the 19th. The 20th, we'll see your chat's pick. Hope all's well with you, man. I'm getting over our playoff loss on Sunday. We lost we battered them too. We had more XG, more shots, more on target, more possession, but they more passes into the final third, in the final third, and into the opposition box. But we didn't. We lost 1-0. We got FM'd IRL, and we're out of the playoffs. So that was really upsetting. But I live. It's sports. It's the nature of the beast. But yeah. Our matchup on the 20th will be Chat's pick. I actually probably can do both if I could start with the Washington game. I might try it just to see if that works, but I think we'll probably just pick one on this day. On the 22nd, it'll be Rockford at Troy. The 23rd will be Chat's pick between Boston at Troy or Washington at Cleveland. The 24th will be Rockford at Fort Wayne. The 26th is going to be Chicago White. Chat's pick between Chicago at Fort Wayne or Cleveland at Troy. On the 27th, we'll get Rockford at Cleveland. And then just topping off the month, Chat will pick between Philadelphia at Fort Wayne or New York at Washington. And on the 30th, we've got Troy at the New York Mutuals. That's what's coming up in the month of June. Chat is selecting right now the game that they want to watch next. There is a little bit of time left on that timer, about maybe 45 seconds. And it is 6-3 Philadelphia Athletics at 4-4 Cleveland Forest Citys, or the 4-9 Troy Haymakers at the 4-6 Washington Olympics. Those are the options. Time is almost about to expire on that poll. We'll go over league leaders in just a moment as well. Once that poll expires, we'll do league leaders in both. And this poll's only got about 10 seconds left now. Let's see what we got. Right. Okay. Chad has selected Philadelphia at Cleveland as the next match. So we will cover that in our next Out of the Park baseball stream. That is currently set to be sometime this weekend, either Saturday morning or Sunday morning. Let's go over your league leaders real quick. National League in the batting average, Cherokee Fisher for Chicago's the top at 448. Cap Anson's 397 is second. Fort Wayne's Dave Bertzel's 372 is third. Lip Pike's home run will join George Hall for the best in the majors. 3 home runs each for them. Then it's John Bass for Washington Olympics, who are uh, 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 that doesn't make sense. John Bass for the Washington Olympics. He must have been traded, but yeah, he is got 1 home run. RBIs: Ezra Sutton for Troy, Fred Tracy for Troy are first and second, 15 and 13. Lip Pike's 11 is third in the National League. And then just lastly, in terms of ERA, Cherokee Fisher has the best ERA in the National League at 1.02. He's actually got the best ERA in the majors for Chicago. He's followed by Riney Walters, who is got a 2.24 for the New York Mutuals. Dick McBride's 2.82 is the third best. And George Zetlin from Fort Wayne leads and wins at 6. Everyone else has got 4 or less. George Zetlin's 11 strikeouts as the league leader as well. Harry Wright from Troy is in second with 10. Dick McBride's 6 is in third. And that is your stats for the National League. For the American League, Dave Egler's 450 is the league leading batting average for Cleveland Forest Citys. Al Spalding is second on 448, and then Dickie Pierce for Philadelphia at 421 is the American League leader. Only Ed Duffy and Charlie Gold have recorded home runs in the American League so far this season. Both are on the Washington Olympics side. RBIs: Tom Carey is tied with Ezra Sutton for the best in the majors at 15. Dick Higham has 12 for Philadelphia. Al Reach for Boston comes in at third for 10. Egler also has the most stolen bases on 9. That's for Cleveland. Al Reach for Boston is second with 7. Ned Cuthbert for Washington is third with 6. And then lastly for the pitchers, the best ERA is Asa Bernard for Boston. He's got a 2.2 ERA. Al Pratt's 2.56 for Washington is second. Frank Selman for Cleveland, his 2.87 is good enough for third. Wins: Boston, Asa Bernard has 6. Bobby Matthews for Philadelphia has 5. Al Pratt for Washington has 4. And then lastly, strikeouts: Asa Bernard has 9 for Boston. That is third in the majors, best in the American League. Al Spalding's got 4 for Cleveland. Bob Ferguson's got 2 for Philadelphia, and Frank Burrows is the only pitcher in the majors to record a save so far this season. That's it. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next episode for Philadelphia at Cleveland. Until then, take care.